Hello guys and girls listening to this is Rija. Before we start, I just want to thank you all. We reached 1,500 subscribers, which is unbelievable. Like, it took me, 9 months to get to 1,000? And then in like 3 or 4 more days we got to 1,500, which is amazing. It's pretty obvious it was because of the Are Entitled People and Are Entitled Parents videos. But I see that a lot of other channels are doing the same videos, so I decided to make a video about a new subreddit. The name of the subreddit is BadRoommates, which, well, I mean, the name is pretty self-explanatory, right? So let's start. Wanna hear a new level of being a shitty roommate? I asked my roommate to take the trash out, as I have been gone a week and a half. She then proceeded to pick through the trash and only threw out things that she threw away. What? Okay, this is just plain dumb because the roommate is like doing more work. Like, it would have been way easier to just throw away everything. This story requires some context, so let me start from the beginning. I packed up and moved into a student house for my first year of university. It was exciting. I lived with 6 other people and they were all super cool. But this one dude, I will call him Jack, had a really bad odor all of the time. None of us said anything because, number 1, awkward, and number 2, maybe he had some medical issues, I don't know. So it comes to the end of the year, and since we all get on really well, we decide to move to a new place together. We move in to start the second year of uni, but this guy's smell is getting dramatically worse. I don't even know how to describe it, like a mixture of mold, old cheese and BO. It got so bad that none of us could eat in the same room as him, let alone sit next to him and actually have a conversation. What was also weird was that he used to wear 3 pairs of trousers at one time, like some jogging bottoms, some jeans, and then another pair of jeans on top. We ignored the smell for another year until it became too much. We all discussed the very obvious issue, and after weeks of dropping hints, we decided that the guy he was closest to should tell him directly. So he did, and he got ignored completely. But then another issue arises. We not only get mice, but a bedbug infestation. It was horrific. Our landlord called an exterminator, who had to go in all of our rooms to fumigate. Jack got pulled aside and spoken to individually, but we thought maybe he was stocking bills, etc., and didn't think to ask. Everything seemed okay and they said they'll be back in 10 days to make sure it worked. Jack still smelled really bad, but that seemed like the least of our troubles. Then suddenly Jack disappeared, saying he has gone home for a break or whatever, in the middle of the academic year. Anyways, the fumigators come back and me and 2 other girls were in the living room, letting them do their thing. When the men come downstairs, I will never forget this conversation. Have you noticed a strange smell about the guy in room 3? Yes, since we have known him. How would you describe that smell? Shit. Yep. We all went white and stared at each other in disbelief, thinking that he was trying to wind us up. But no. Not only was his room crawling in bugs and all sorts, he was shitting in his room, in 7 suitcases, and using his curtains as toilet paper. The bathroom was next door to him. The men proceeded to bring down all the evidence and go through every item in the garden. They were clearly also in shock because they kept nervously laughing and gagging when they found a huge lump of turd or really badly stained jeans covered in shit. Since it's definitely not their job to dispose of all that, they left it all for us in beanbags in our garden. The landlord tried to help us, but he was so disturbed and angry about the whole thing that he wasn't much help. Safe to say that guy never returned, and he had to pay thousands in damage. They put in a new carpet, bed, curtains, painted the wall. It was all destroyed with feces. His mom turned it up to clean on his behalf though, and cried when she saw his room. Maybe he had some mental health problems, I don't even know, but still thinking about it to this day makes me cringe. Too long, didn't read. Roommate filled his room and 7 suitcases with shit for 2 years, which attracted mice and bedbugs and then disappeared. And the name of this thread was "My roommate shit in his room for years before anyone found out." And I put it at the end because I didn't want to spoil the story for you guys and girls listening. I had a housemate once, a vegetarian who was apparently so grossed out by meat I couldn't even have it visible to the naked eye in the fridge. Go through the bin to pull out my fried chicken that I threw away, and proceeded to leave it in the middle of the hallway outside my bedroom, on top of the food waste bin for me to find the next day. Best part being that my other housemate had had Chinese food after me, and thrown away her boxes and leftovers after I binned mine. Other best part, she wasn't even home when I ate and binned the food, so she went through the rubbish just in case I had committed the crime of throwing away food. Her issue, for your information, was we had a food waste bin specifically for that purpose. It was a fairly new endeavor at the time, and that was the first time I forgot to use it. I have sat on this story for years, but it's time. Just pure assholery and the end of a lifelong friendship. A good friend, Jay, was moving to New York City with his girlfriend and another friend of theirs from college, Lisa. I had been in New York City for a few years already, in a crappy but manageable apartment. I traveled a lot for work and I was fine with my situation. Once they realized the rent costs out here, Jay and girlfriend keep pushing for us to get a nicer 2-bedroom and we will split the costs 3 ways. Since they arrived, Lisa disappeared, having her own friends. She will occasionally stop by on the weekends and crash on the couch. Every bone in my body is saying this is a bad idea, but I give it a go. I really don't see them much. I'm on the road nearly every week. I get back late Friday night, I do my expense reports for work, check in on the bills for the apartment, then leave again Sunday afternoon. Jay asks that I let him know the rare week I'm not traveling so he knows girlfriend will not be home alone. I didn't think much of it. For the first few months the bills were growing and I was paying a little more than I expected, but overall things are fine. Until one weekend, girlfriend gives me a note with my share of the bills and a $500 phone TV bill saying that it's mine. Note they claim maybe $80 of the rest of the bill. It's a bunch of calls on the phone landline to California and a ton of on-demand movies purchased. These aren't my purchases, there is no way I'm paying for them. This is simply mad, they aren't mine, they aren't Jay's, so they have to be yours. I have a folder with all my receipts I keep in a file until I get my reimbursement. I was in Boston and Baltimore for all of these bills. There is literally no way I could have made those calls. I don't care what your papers say, it wasn't me and it wasn't Jay. The loop continues for an hour, at which point I politely ask her to leave my room. Red in the face show bows, I'm paying my share. Jay finally turns up late night. Understandably, he takes his girlfriend's side and is trying to appeal to me rationally to own up to my side of the deal. I am showing him dozens of receipts, placing me hundreds of miles away, and the loop starts all over that it wasn't Jay or his girlfriend, so it had to be me. I lock my door, leave, and I meet up with my boss for dinner. Again, as I travel so much, we try to catch up over dinner and a drink when I am back in town. I explain the situation and he thinks something else is going on. He asks if I am on the list and I am not, it's just Jay and girlfriend. He advises to keep all my receipts showing where I was if they try to go after me in small claims court, but also as I'm not on the list, I should really consider moving out. He is telling me the situation is only going to get worse. He tells me to take a few days this week and see what I can find, as normally I'll be on my way to Boston Sunday night, and to change the lock on my room. That Sunday morning I changed my door handle from the generic indoor lock to a key locked. The tension is thick as the bill is still not resolved. I don't talk to Jay or girlfriend the rest of the day as they are out and about. Sunday night I'm in my room, door locked, in bed trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. Then the fun begins. Note, this is extremely important to the story. They don't know I'm still home as I'll normally be on the train to Boston by 5 p.m. 8 p.m. rolls by and I hear my door jiggle, and girlfriend says that SOB changed the lock, UMF, UPOSMF. She's screaming hysterically at the top of her lungs. I'm trying to figure out 1. Why is she so angry? And 2. Why is she trying to open my door? Now, I hear Jay trying to open the door and he calmly says to girlfriend that they can just jimmy open the door with a butter knife. That is when I open the door asking what the fuck are they doing, and their faces go pale as a ghost. I ask again, WTF are you trying to open my locked door? They reply asking why I changed the lock. I reply, it doesn't matter, I'm paying rent, it's my room. They start with the mind games that it's really fucked up that you would change the locks. They get really angry and are shouting all sorts of shit for the next few minutes. Then the lock to the main door to the apartment opens and in walks Lisa with a suitcase and looks like she's seen a ghost when she sees me. It all comes together. She has been staying in my room when I'm traveling. The bills were hers and I was livid. She had been staying in my room with all my belongings. I oddly felt violated. Girlfriend shrugged and uttered something about me not using the room that much anyway. I didn't say another word. I locked the door, packed up my clothes and belongings. I made a few calls and one of my cousins was more than accommodating until I found a spot. I left that night. Over the next week or so, Jay left a ton of voicemails, starting with when am I coming back, when am I dropping off my share of the rent/bills. I never spoke to them again. I did see them pop up on Facebook suggested friends. They are married now, living in New England somewhere. Fuck them. Girls and guys, I would love to hear your comments about this subreddit community. Also comment on what subreddit I should do next. As always, a like, comment and share is greatly appreciated. And please subscribe if you like the content. Bye!